Morning and welcome back. It is the WXCO Morning Report, part of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow on 98.9 WXCO. I am Chad Holmes along with Ian Welsh. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
We will have more with you coming up, but we're going to jump right in here this morning because once again, we have an opportunity to talk, I think, about something good going in our community. I mean, really something that people should know about. And just recently, I was, as we tend to do, surfing around social media, and I was on Facebook, and I saw under the Wausau School District an announcement for a fundraiser. And in fact, it's more than a fundraiser. It's about a new scholarship raising money for at Wausau East. And it involves a tragedy, but then also something that's being done in a very positive way. A member of the Wausau School District team, Laura Morris, passed away late last year in 2024 after a brave battle with cancer. And in order to honor her legacy at Wausau East, one of her fellow coaches, faculty members, member of the staff at Wausau East, Ken Smith, decided to start raising money and to start a scholarship for a Wausau East High School student who have been or are being affected by cancer. And to talk about it here today, we're very happy, first of all, to be joined by Ken Smith. Yeah. Ken, thank you for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have that microphone just a little bit closer to you. That'd be terrific. And also, Ken, when I reached out to you, you said that we'd love to have a member of Laura's family join us, and we're very happy to welcome Allison. Allison, your last name. You have a married last name?
Yeah, Elephant.
Okay, thank you very much, Allison and Ken, for joining us. Yeah. I guess we'll start off, before we talk about the scholarship and everything else, talk about Laura Morris. I'm going to start with you as the person that started this fundraiser, Ken. How did you know Laura, and what brought you to the point that you wanted to do something like this?
Yeah, she was a student of mine at Horace Mann. I was a teacher at Horace Mann Middle School. I was coaching some soccer at the high school, and just a great kid. Played lots of sports, and we had fun in classes and things. And as I took over the girls soccer program in 2006, she was a junior, and so she became basically one of my first captains as a new head coach of the program. And so we were pretty close working together. She was like a team mom, like her leadership abilities and to keep her teammates in line or to help build the morale and set the culture for us. She was just an amazing person. So she was a captain for 2 years for me. And so I've kind of watched her grow up, and then, she went to college, came back and was teaching, and we got a chance to coach together for a year at Horace Mann. And she became an elementary teacher, and my wife is an elementary teacher. So they would see each other, at different things and events. And as in she grew in her career, we saw her more and more, and just has been a colleague. So I've known her for a long time, and just known her as always just a real special person in my heart and my memories as a coach. And then to see her then battle with the triple negative breast cancer, how brave she was. Doing it, sharing her journey and things was just kind of blew me away, to watch how brave she was through all that.
Obviously, you saw her as a student, as a colleague, Allison, family. And obviously, first of all, older or younger sister?
I am the oldest, but only by 15 months. Laura's only just over a year younger than me. So
I guess we'll start off with what made your sister special growing up, and then as an adult as well, the things that pop up in your mind.
Yeah, I would say being so close in age. We also have a brother who was just 17 months younger than her. So we were right in a row and did everything together. I especially, now during the summer, I have such fond memories of being outside, playing in the pool, camping, just so many things that we did together growing up. She was my sister, obviously, but also just my friend. And she had young kids, and I have a child who's close in age. And so we were kind of in every life step we were just kind of embarking on together. And so we were quite close.
let's discuss her illness because I think that's part of the story here.
Yeah.
Um, when was she diagnosed, first of all?
She was diagnosed in April of 2022.
What was the response within your family?
Oh, lots of fear and anxiety. Right away, I think anytime you hear cancer, that's just where your mind goes. But after a first couple weeks of being anxious and stressed, I think really led by Laura, it was like, let's go. What are we going to do but go forward, and we're going to beat it, and we're going to, tackle this together. And so she always felt good about having a plan. So she would meet with her doctor. She'd say, "This is what we're doing next, and it's gonna work. We're going to get through it."
And Ken, what about within your school community when that diagnosis came through? What was the response? And obviously you work with
Yeah.
her and see her in the work environment
Right.
about
And
that process.
I think when you go through that, you have your ups and downs where she was at work and being there, and then there were times where she wasn't. She, the chemo and things like that took its toll, and so she had to take her days to rest. And it was just one of those where you're just shocked and surprised. And but like I said, her I kept track of her through her Facebook page and just tried to send her messages once in a while. And um watching her go through it and how she shared her journey with everybody else so that other people and maybe on that journey could see her strength and learn from what she was going through was just something that was just it blew me away, because I don't think I would have ever had the strength to do something like that and to put it out there. And but I can only imagine how many people saw that and learned a great deal and helped them through their journeys as well.
Again, we're talking to Ken Smith and Allison. What your last name again?
Oliphant.
Oliphant. Thank you very much. We're talking to Ken and Allison about Laura Morris, a former Wausau East High School student, Wausau East High School teacher and coach who passed away in November of last year. But now, to honor Laura, Ken is creating a GoFundMe to create a scholarship in Laura's name, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But Laura, Allison, you said earlier that after the diagnosis, that Laura said, "Let's go. I mean, let's get to work." What was it within your sister that allowed her to get news that I think would take most people to their knees and to say, "Let's go. Let's get back to work and let's fight this"? What within your sister allowed her to do that? And as that process continued, did you see that light continue to shine brightly?
hmm Yeah, something I always envied about her was her dedication to things that were important to her. She was honestly the fittest, healthiest person who I knew at the time of her diagnosis. She was, winning races she was running. She was lifting weights, she was eating well. I mean, she was just like a vision of health to me. And so I think that she was, I think, more than anything for her kids, she would do anything. She would have done anything. And she did, really the whole time she did everything in her power um to fight so that she would be able to be here longer for them, and then to keep doing the other things that she loved. And um I would say, I mean, there's always a roller coaster. There's good news and bad news and good news and bad news, and it just keeps fluctuating, especially with such an aggressive disease. And so there were down moments. I mean, of course, there were down moments, but she really was herself, her bright, funny, positive self, for until the end, really. And that's I'm proud of her. I'm glad to be able to remember how she faced those really challenging times.
How many kids does her was her and her husband have?
Yeah, two. Hmm. Yeah.
And how old are they?
They are newly 5 and newly 8.
Ken, you have other kids that affected by this, the students with of hers, and even within the Wausau East and the Wausau school community.
Yeah.
What did the I would say the courage that Laura showed mean to the greater community within the Wausau East community and the Wausau school district?
Well, I think, like I just said, she was just an example, and she taught elementary PE, and then was a tech mentor. Went around and taught the teachers after that. So she wasn't in the classroom for a while, but watching like the donations come in and see the names of people and to see the connections that she had with students that are at East now, and that she was their student when they were in kindergarten, and to see that connection and still have people have that memory of her leadership and how strong she was through all this. Just sent an amazing message, I think, through the community, because there was so many people that she's close to that watched her journey.
Allison, I along with you and your family, I imagine that seeing those names that come in that make donations, but even before this, I imagine that during the entire process, the communication that the family would get concerning your sister and the concern they have, and maybe the pride in how she has come to the forefront during the entire process. The connections, I imagine, got even stronger within the people in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been overwhelming, really in the best way. um, it's really starting with her celebration of life, which we held at John Marshall Elementary School, because that was also a significant, portion of Laura's life. Um, the people who walked through that door to hug all of us was just, well, for me, it was a blast from the past, because I have lived outside of Wausau for quite some time
Mm.
now, but um, just the wide spectrum of people from all over the community coming together, whether they knew Laura very well or not, knowing that they were thinking of our family, that they were inspired by Laura. Um, it just, yeah, like I said, it's overwhelming. It's certainly reassuring and comforting, but also like, wow, like the magnitude of the impact that just one person can have takes my breath away a little bit.
Again, we're talking to Ken Smith and Allison Oliphant, discussing, and now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of what you've been trying to accomplish here in recent weeks. Talking about a new GoFundMe to create a scholarship in Laura Morris's name. And I guess, Ken, it's been, I imagine that there's been a process for you as well, that once everybody lost Laura, that obviously that loss, and then you probably can you maybe go through your thought process as to get to this point where you decided, hey, this is something I want to do.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, the celebration of life again was such an amazing time to see all her friends and colleagues and former teammates and people that I had contact with and coached and stuff over the years. And so it just got me thinking about how we can recognize her in a way, and went through a couple ideas. And being a teacher at Wausau East, and my sons went through there and going through that scholarship night and seeing some of the memorial scholarships we've seen in the past. So like that kind of stuck in my mind to do something like that. And so I just kind of made some different connections. I talked to her family and made sure that that was, okay moving forward with that. And then just contacted some different people in the community, contact with the district about how this whole process works. And then finally this summer, we got it finally, I got it finally organized and had time to kind of really work on it.
And Allison, when Ken gave you this idea, what was the family response to it?
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking for ways to keep Laura alive for us within our family, of course. And so I think this idea to keep her alive for so many other people means a lot to us. It really does. And it would mean a lot to Laura. Um, and so again, overwhelming to see, the donations start to come in and just how many people are moved by the story and feel that this is something worth doing. It's a good feeling.
And Ken, the the folks that are going to be the recipients of the scholarship, Wausau East students who are affected by cancer.
Yeah, that was my plan. We have a soccer scholarship already, so I'm like, well, let's make it something that's maybe bigger than that, and can open it up for more students to have an opportunity. So that was just my thought, was to everybody. We've talked before, there's so many people affected by cancer, whether it's personally or in a family member or something. So just being able to help a student that has gone through that journey in one way or another, I think, is in Laura's memory. I think she would really like that, and I think it's just a great opportunity to help a student and a family that could use some help.
And folks out there are going to have an opportunity to make a donation as well to this scholarship fund. We will have on our WXCO social media, on my personal social media, also on our show notes. Of course, if you go to WXCO.FM each day, you can listen to, as a podcast, our WXCO morning report, and we have show notes about the topics we talk about that morning, and we will have a link to this GoFundMe as well there. So when that's put up, you'll have that opportunity as well. Have you been, I don't know if the word is surprised, because obviously I think that from what we have heard, that Laura Morris was a very beloved figure within the Wausau East community, but at the same time, you don't know. I assume that when you start something out, that your hopes are always high. What has been the response so far?
Yeah, like I said, I think I put it originally for a $5,000 fundraiser. I've never done a GoFundMe or anything like this before, and so wasn't sure. Like, okay, if we start it now, that gives us time by the spring to make that money, and we can give a $500 scholarship for 10 years in Laura's name. Be fantastic. Well, we need that $5,000 in under 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just incredible. Like I said, to get to see the names of the people that have donated. And then, like, when the district kind of came back and said, hey, can we share it? And we upped the goal to 10, like, let's see where we can go. And then over the course of the next 5 or 6 days, we hit that. And so it's been just over a week and a half, and we're over 10,000. And so we upped it again to 12. And then we heard from you and like, okay, let's just see. I've never done anything like this before. So let's go as far as we can and help as many kids for as long as we can.
And Allison, as you've looked at it, and I think Ken mentioned a lot of the names, I imagine as you, I'm pretty certain that you probably look at all the names. It's like people in your life, your family's life. I imagine that must be a unique experience to see these people who are stepping forward and putting their name behind this scholarship fund.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, throughout the 2.5 years of the diagnosis and the kind of the fight, and then into this less than a year of kind of grieving and, learning what to do next. It just continues to surprise us that people just continue to be so generous, and that people are good, and people who were impacted by Laura, or someone else, in our family. Maybe they didn't even know Laura directly, but that people just continue to support, you know, causes like this that make a difference in the Wausau community, and that's really powerful.
Something you just said as well kind of begs a question. This process continues for you, your family, for the people that were in Laura's life as well. Based on where you and your family and community are, and knowing that there's still a lot you have to go through, any piece of either wisdom or advice that folks that either have recently lost a loved one or are going through this process, anything in particular to stand out that perhaps you could share with folks that are going through this?
Well, I don't want to give any false image that this has been like easy or joyful in any way. Although there certainly is, there are places to find meaning. In the loss, I've heard it said that grief is just love with no place to go. You have these strong feelings, your brain, your heart, is used to having that person in your life. And so I just really think that for the rest of our lives, we'll be finding places for that love for Laura to go. And um, that is kind of what I would tell other people as well, is that love still means something. That person you lost still means something. Try to find ways, whether they be a GoFundMe or, for a scholarship, or to, do something smaller within your life to keep that love going. Because that void will always be there. And so, how can you try to find new places for it to go and to make a difference?
And Ken, I imagine that when you're on the pitch at a practice or a game, that you probably see things that remind you of back when Laura was on the pitch for Wausau East.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still coaching, helping out with the girls program, and so yeah, you can't help but have those memories when stuff happens. And like we had said before, my mom fought cancer for 16 years,
Yeah.
and so when I was coaching, it was when she was first diagnosed. And East and West girls play for the Rock, and that's a big trophy that they play for every year. Well, Laura one year, as a captain, gave everybody a little rock, and they painted them and stuff. I think Thomas probably helped out because he was a manager. I'm gonna get emotional. Well, I kept that rock in my truck for all these years, and it was like they were my rock. They helped me with my mom, and like about a year ago, they had a fundraiser for Laura, and I was able to give that back because we were her rock now. Because she had that soccer and everything meant so much to me and kept me strong, coaching and work with my mom, and kept my brain and everything in the right frame of mind going forward. So just to be able to give that back to her, as all the people in her family and her friends were her rock at that time. So yeah, it's just it's something I won't ever forget.
I imagine now that as this process continues, that is the hope that the first Laura Moore scholarship will be handed out at the end of the school year.
Yeah, that's the plan, and we'll go from there. And like I said, I'm just doing this, and always want the family involved in any way they want to be involved in it. As far as awarding it and things like that, that still all has to be figured out because
Right.
it's still something I've not done before. So I'll be in communication with Wausau East and set up that. And yeah, next year for that scholarship night, it'll be a pretty special night, I think.
I mentioned some top areas that people can get a link, but I guess for other places that on your social media, is there any other information people should know if they're interested in donating?
Like I said, it was one of those where the district has to be careful when we do these, and so it's on my personal Facebook page, and then people have shared that out that way. I'm hoping to talk with Channel 7 this week, and maybe they can promote that. And I appreciate you again reaching out and sharing the info. And then, like I said, the district has been very good about sharing it out. And so I think those are the main places to go to find that.
And Allison, any final thoughts? Anything that maybe you'd like to share before we wrap up this conversation? Because I was talking before we went on the air with Ken that within myself, I've gone through a similar situation with the loss of a parent, so very too young from cancer. Anything you would like to share just for folks? Because I believe that when people remember, they're still with us. The worst thing could be not to remember, not to have people talking about them. I guess any final thoughts you'd like to share about your sister before we finish up?
Oh gosh, it's hard to choose. I would say, she was very passionate about sharing and educating other people who were either going through a similar treatment or just trying to get people more invested in their preventative healthcare. So really at every opportunity was, do a breast self exam, regularly once a month. She would be delighted to know that people are doing that.
Mm.
Of all things. I think, also just tell your people you love them. She loved being with her family. She loved being with her friends. She loved doing the work that she did for the district to help teachers. Um, and there's never enough times that you can express gratitude, express love. And so, yeah, for Laura, that's
Allison Oliphant and Ken Smith. Again, folks out there, if you have, it doesn't have to be a big amount, but they all add up to be part of this very special scholarship. And again, starting this year, Laura Morris Memorial Scholarship at Wausau East. Again, a scholarship that will go towards Wausau East High School students who have been or are being affected by cancer. Thank you both for being here. Thank you both for sharing your thoughts and your stories. And congratulations, number one, on a wonderful idea and a wonderful implementation at this point. Ken?
Yeah, thank you. It's been great, and I just look forward to it.
And Allison, again, thank you very much for joining us as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to share.
We're going to take a time out and then be back with more here on 98.9 WXCO.
We're clear.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Allison, thank you as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, Allison, thank you for being here.
Again, we'll be airing this in segments tomorrow morning. And then I will also be linking the entire conversation in one easy sitting for folks that would like to go about it that way as well. So again, we'll hopefully be able to, be able to see it, and I'll try to tag both of you, and
Sure.
We'll go from there.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you too, Allison.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet.
Yep.
Bye-bye.